Helps if we unmute the mic. So, good morning. Welcome. We're gonna work on hopefully the last of our big tech debt that we had going on here. So, this this morning, I'm gonna finish up the targeting system that we started on Tuesday. I forget when I did that last stream. I think it was Tuesday. Or Sunday, actually. I think it may have been Sunday. So we're going to finish up that targeting stuff. Then we're going to get the make the buff system work, and we're going to build out the abilities for all the characters. So hopefully, crossing our fingers, we'll get everything implemented today. Okay, we got all the tech stuff is working. I've got trying to reconfigure my setup to try to make things work. I'm trying to use the OBS chat now instead of the YouTube chat because for some reason this morning the YouTube chat wasn't working right. I don't know why. So we've got that. We've got this did not select the stream. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. So I've got chat up. Chat is working. We have got our plan. So I think we should be good to go. I was kind of hoping there'd be some more people in today, but hey, it's a Thursday. It's kind of stormy out. People probably got other things going on. So let's dive into this here. Let me just go over here. We've got our Kanban here for the board. I did make a couple changes to my website tracker. So now I can just go right to the projects and we can see, I have 45 and a half hours. So we're almost at 2 days that we've been developing this. So I've added that, and I've added just a couple things to make my life a little bit easier. So like now when I add a card, if I'm on Dungeon Fire tiles, it'll just automatically add that for me. So we're going to work on the targeting system today. We're going to get that done. We're going to build out the hero abilities. We're going to build out the buff system. And if there's time today, we'll define the monster abilities and build out the monsters. Most likely that's going to be tomorrow's stream. And as soon as we get that built out tomorrow, we should be the end of this milestone. We'll only be 9 hours behind our targeted goal. But if you remember right, I did say coming into this, I felt like we were going to run over the 10 hours. And that's why I was trying to pre-bank those, the buff time to, from the previous ones, trying to shave off those 10 hours so I can put them into this one. And there's going to be a couple places further on that I think we're going to be able to make up that time. So hopefully we should be all good there today. So let's go ahead and let's get started here with our targeting. I misspelled targeting. I misspelled it here, and I think I misspelled it. I think I misspelled it in the actual game too. I did download 4.7.1 came out, so I snagged that like 5 minutes ago. So we're going to load that up here. Okay, and let's just see here. Okay, so right now let's just look at what we have here while I have a sip of, whoops, okay, hit the right button. Here we go. While I have a sip of coffee. So we've got our current system here. We've got like fireballs. I think, did we get this? Yeah, this is working. Oh, hey, that's quite the start. We get a 4 fireball and kill everybody. Cool. We got the move working, so we can go here. We can right click to cancel. And I did not program in the escape to cancel. We should probably add that in. But we can right click to cancel. The attack right now, it does not actually work if I remember correctly. So let's just see if we can get some more orcs to show up here. And of course, when I want the orcs to show up, they're not going to show up. Okay, coffee. Well, we'll just restart it. That'll make it easier. Okay, so let's just double check here and let's just see if our attack is working. I don't believe it is. Attack. Oh, it is. Okay, so our attack is working. Okay. Is it the... Did we... Oh, right. Because we've got the targeting system hooked up only for movement. We don't have it hooked up yet for attack or the abilities. So like this and stuff like that. And that is... broken that we need to fix. Okay. Okay, so good. That's what we're going to do. We're going to finish by um, cleaning up our targeting machine. Okay, so let's get right into this and let's get this going here. And good morning to everybody who joined. Let's see here. Okay, so let's find our targeting machine. Here we go. And I think targeted. Okay, so I spelled that right there. Ability target. There we go. I was gonna say I thought I had a spelling error somewhere. Um, Targeting only has one T. There we go. Okay, so we'll fix that error. Oh, did we also do it in game board? Did I call out targeting machine target? Oh no, I spelled that one right. Okay. Okay, so let's see where we leave off here. I was thinking about. So we have our targeting node. I was debating about if in how would I want to say that? Right now we have it as a node that we add to the game board. I was debating not making this like a node here and just making. I think this would be in our cleanup. You know, the turn manager, targeting machine, combat manager. All this stuff is gonna have to reside in game board. So no matter what, if we have our dungeon one, if we have an outdoor one, whatever tile set we have for each of our dungeons, all this stuff needs to exist. So I was debating whether or not, to keep them as nodes here, because then if I build like a new one, instead of dungeon tiles, we use ancient ruins or underwater caves or something like that, making those so that they're in code, they get added to, versus adding them in the tree. But that's just a design thing. It's us on the Fat Earth Games, Fat Earth Dev. I forget the name of the uh, Discord server I was on there, but Fat Earth, I remember that part of it. And talking about the design and proper setup and all that stuff. And so it just made me think about, do I want to actually have to add these in every single time, or do I want just this script for the game board to auto-populate it? But okay, so let's come back down here. There was some stuff we didn't finish doing. This is going to be changed. So let's see here. So we're going to take and redo all of this. So AoE, we got targeting overlays here. Wait, do we want to use, no, we want to use the AoE target overlay. I don't know why I did this last time. We created the AoE target overlay, but then we never, yeah. So we'll just do this, and all these targeting overlays will become AoE overlay. Okay. So that makes that easy. Okay, so then we can instantiate that, put that all there. And then when we do this, we don't want all of this stuff anymore. We're going to get rid of, I think, all of this. Let me just look here, because we're going to pass all of this off to our targeting. We're going to have a separate function called AoE targeted. Basically, we're going to pull in all the characters there. Let's see. I was overtired last night when I wrote my notes for what I want to do with this. Let's see. I wrote add the child and then connect the cell to an AoE targeted. Okay. So this, we add all this. We're going to just remove everything else here. I'm just double checking to make sure that, if actor can get treated monsters, target, enable target mode. These are all under. We're already doing game board targeted selected. Are we enabling target mode anywhere here? Ability single target. In group players, group for actor in group. Enable target mode. Okay. Yeah, so we don't need any of this. Okay. So let's get rid of all of this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in a new function, AOE overlay dot what do we call it? Targeted cell dot connect. And then we're just going to call it into an on AOE targeted. Oops, AOE targeted cell. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, and then so let's go ahead and define that. Let's see here. AOE targeted cell. What am I gonna? Did I already define? I don't think I already defined that, right? No, I did not. Okay. Where's my notes? Here we go. And so that's gonna be just blank because it's just gonna say we've targeted it. We're not gonna await anything, so I don't think we need that. So let's just double check our if current state does not equal the state, what do we call it? State ability targeting. Yeah. So if it's not in our ability targeting state, we want to make sure we don't run anything in here so we don't cause any issues. And we also want to check if current state does not equal ability targeting. And do we want to do and or? Let's do or not current ability, just to make sure we have an ability. And then we want just return. So we're just going to say, hey, these are invalid states. We don't want to execute our AOE explosion if our current state is not in ability targeting and we don't have a current ability assigned. So this is just our fallout, just to make sure that we don't have bad data being passed and going to cause our system here to crash. So let's see here. We need a var. We need a target cell. Target cell. And then we're going to make that. That's going to be a vector 2i, because that's how we track those cells. And that's going to be the AOE overlay dot target. Okay. And then we're going to also look at, we need targets. And that's going to be an array of actors. Array actors, yes, equals boom, blank, right? Cannot find type. Oh, is it just actor? Yeah, actor, not actors, actor. Okay. And then, so from there, what we need to do is we need to build the group, and based on who's being targeted. So I think what we need to do is this by default. So we can just do this right here. Let's borrow this. Actually, no, this is a different function. That was local to that function. So let's keep it here. Okay, so so if our current actors and group players, which it should be, because this targeting stuff should only ever apply to players, but we want to keep this just to be safe that we don't end up here by accident. By default, we're going to target monsters, but then we can look at the current ability. Is it set for target allies? If it is, then we're going to change our targeting group to become players. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll do var. We'll use our targets. Okay. And then we're going to assign that to, we have a function in game board. Get all actors in range. Here we go. So this requires target cell, a radius, and a group. Okay, so we copy that over here. Actually, you know what? I think this, I'm going to take this function. I'm just going to copy this over here. And we're going to bring that right into our targeting, because this is all going to be handled as part of the targeting machine. Okay. So we're going to get all actors in range. We need to send the target cell. We need to send the radius, which is our ability. Oops. Control Z. ABILITY dot. Do we not define ability when we pass it in? Ability. Current. Oh, current ability, not ability. Current ability. Current ability. There we go. And then there should be a AOE radius. There we go. And then we need to send in the group. Okay. So then that, here's our group. We send the group. And that's a string. Okay. So that should return an array. Let's see here. Actor, it's an array list of actors. Why is this not identifier group not declared? Group. Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Because again, we want to make sure it's only players. So then we can do it this way. Yep. Okay. So then that's going to get all of our targets. And then what we need to do is once the AOE, we have our list of targets. We need to then, let's see, what does this one do again? We go through here, we find it, we find everybody that's valid in the group, and we return it. Okay, so then we have, this is our list of targets that we're going to start applying things to. So let's do for actor in targets. Okay, and then we can do actor. We need to do the, what do we need to do? Oh, do we need to do anything here? Actually, no. Can we AOE targeted cell? What do we do in game board when we do AOE target? AOE target selected. Here we go. Not enough. We do this. We send in the list of actors and the combat manager. So is that all we need to do here? We just need to send in the current ability, attack actors, send in our targets, and then we need to send in the combat manager. We have to pass in the combat manager and the ability. So if we need to do that, then we need to do game board dot combat manager. Okay. So that should pass in everything that we need there. Let's see here. Looking at my notes. Oh, yep, my notes. Good thing I double checked my notes, because there's one thing I need to do before we do that. We need to then transition to, and then we need to go back to our idle state. Okay. So then what we do here is we go through all this. If it's type area, we get the overlay, we connect the signal from the overlay. And then when that clicks, we go into here. Did we already hide the panel? Here we go. So that's idle. Action board visible equals true. There we go. This is what we want. We want false. Okay, so we come in here. Yes, we set the false here. Okay. And then we'll do that. I think that is it that we need to do for that aspect. Okay. All of our actors. Oh, I think we need to change something. Did we already do all this? Ability targeting. Yeah, because then we have the sub target, so this should be fine. Oh, yeah. No, this I did find. I need to do ability target. Oops. There we go. Ability target. because here target selected is just our standard combat function. Ability targeted is our ability targeting. So, okay. So that, because I found what was happening if I didn't do this, and then the next time I used an ability, it would double trigger when I was running a test on this. Okay, so think I think that is it. I don't know if there's anything else I needed to do. I think this is good. Do we have a? Oh wait. Okay, so we are disabling here. Move. We never enabled targeting mode, so we shouldn't need targeting mode. Um, yeah, no, I think this is good. Okay, let's jump over to our game board. Game board. Okay, and then let's take a look here. Game board, we need to update active. Update active. Here we go. What we need to do here, we need to change this because our targeting machine is going to take care of this. So if we do, actually, I think there's a update active. Here we go. This one right here. Update active. Decision engine. We're gonna in the monster. Where is, here we go, right here, this one. If it's the player, we don't want this here. Instead, what we want is our targeting machine, and then we're going to use a transition 2, and then we're going to call in the targeting machine dot state dot idle. There we go. So then what we'll do is if it's the actor's turn, or the player's turn, because here we check for monsters. So if it's not, we should probably add, you know what, let's do this. Let's add in just another double check. Is in group players. Yeah. Because again, if we, oops, this is else if. Okay. Because I still haven't built them yet, but we're going to add traps. And if we add traps in, then we need to account for, because if we just use an else here, then traps are going to end up in the player's targeting. We don't want that. Okay. So then that will this will kick off anytime the player activates. Now we're going to be in a targeting machine. So that's where that's going to be. Okay. So let's go over here to, excuse me, on turn ending. Let's see. What do we need? We don't need to worry about this anymore. I'm just going to leave that there just as a extra close possibility. So we do show this. Let's see here. We are factors in group players. Yep. We're going to keep that just in case. And then we're going to do our targeting machine dot transition 2. We're going to reset it to idle. So that's not targeting anything. Transition 2. Target machine state dot idle. Okay. So then this, make sure that we're not targeting after the turn's over. So it's just another safety precaution here. Action panel visible, show possibles. Yeah, that's fine. This is all fine. Okay. So that should be good there. And let's try updating attack, and then we're going to test it. Okay, so let's see. So if we're in players, we don't need to do this anymore because this is all handled by the targeting system. So what we need to do is just replace this and replace it with targeting machine transition 2 targeting machine state, and then this is going to be our attack targeting. There we go. And that should be all we need for that, because now we've moved all of that logic into our targeting machine. And then because the way it works, we call that when we do the attack, we call back to the target selected. So let's take a look at the target selected. We're going to pass back in the actor that we targeted. So let's see here. Do we need... We don't need any of this. This is just disabling our target selected, so we don't need that anymore. If player is in group players, we don't need this panel anymore because our targeting system will turn that off. But we do want our targeting system, our targeting machine, to transition to... I mean, this is just again a double a safety measure. .state .idle. Okay. So after target selected, we go back into the idle state. And then does our idle state automatically turn back on the panel? I think it might. Exit state, no, interstate. Interstate, idle, in players. Yeah, see, it automatically turns it back on. So let's turn... This is not a great way to do this. We're in game board, so we don't need that there. Okay. We'll have to go through and clean up code after. I don't like doing this because the targeting system says, hey, if we still have action points, turn back on the action panel. But we don't want the action panel back on until the attack is actually done. So we're going to hit this as false here. I may end up... Yeah, I'll have to think about that. That's going to be more in our UI cleanup once we get it, especially if I end up moving the action panel down to the actor and away from the actual overall UI. So we'll have to think about that one. Okay, so target selected. We've done all that cleanup. And then if we're in the group, okay, we await the attack. Okay. Do we need... Before we do the await, do we need check for the monster? I don't think we do. We'll leave that here. We may come back. I may have to add in a cleanup for the monster. I put a note in here, but I feel like that was when I was trying to troubleshoot something else. Okay, so let's go down here. We go through, we use the action point. It says, hey, if there's not enough, return. And then here we turn the panel back on. Okay. And then we complete the action. Okay. I don't think... Oh, wait. This is going to cause a problem. Because if there's 0 action points, that's going to turn this on. So let's add in if turn manager dot action. What we do? We did... how did we track this again? Turn manager dot current actor. How... action points. Current actor, group player. Here we go. Current actor dot action points. Okay, so let's use that. Current actor action points is greater than 0. Then we can do turn back on the panel. Okay. Okay. So we don't want to turn it back on if we don't have any action points. Let's see here. That should be fine there. Okay. And I think that's good there. Let's try this. So we should have attack and move running through the targeting system now. Okay, so move, cancel, attack, cancel, attack, cancel. Okay, so attack. Okay. Move. Okay. Okay. We cast healing on him and that. Okay, so we haven't worked out the single target stuff yet. Okay. Okay, so that seems to work. We have moving and we have attacking through the targeting system. Now let's get our abilities to work through the targeting system here. So let's see here. Game board. Ability target. Is that the one we want? No, I think we have a different one. I think we have, here we go. Start ability targeting. I really need to rearrange the order of these functions. Okay, so we're going to start the ability targeting. We have the check here, not enough AP. I don't need to, I'm going to go back through one of these times and I'm just going to remove all of these extra print statements. Okay, so if we pass this, we have enough AP to run. We're going to say we're using this ability. And then I don't think we don't need any of this because this is all part of the targeting. This is all part of targeting. This is all part of targeting. Okay. I don't think we need any of this. Yeah, I think we can get rid of all of this. Yeah, just get rid of all that. And then we can just use targeting machine dot transition to, and then we're going to transition to the targeting machine dot state dot ability targeting. Okay, and then we need the right, because if we go over here and look, ability targeting, we're sending in a context, which is our dictionary of whatever we're passing in. Okay, so let's take that. We need to pass in the context here. So we need to send in the ability. So this is going to be a dictionary. So, oops, put this in quotes, ability. And that's going to equal our ability, right? And what do we call this? Just ability? Yeah, ability. Okay, there we go. So we'll send in the ability and then we'll pass the actual ability. It's not equals, it's dictionary. We're using colons. So here's a key. Here's what we're passing. And I think that's it. I don't think we need anything else. Yeah. So that will start our ability targeting. Okay. And then let's look at our ability target selected. So we pass in the actor, we pass in the ability, and if there is no ability, we just say it's null. Okay. If use action point means we don't have enough. Again, we should never hit this because in the targeting, I believe, in the state machine, interstate here, attack, here we go. Current ability. Oh, no, this isn't it. Where do we use game board? Okay, no, this is where we're actually doing the check. Okay, no, right here. Right here. Get action points. Okay, so if we don't have enough, we should never transition into it. This is just another thing saying, hey, we're going to actually use the action point. And then we have the fallback here just in case, saying, hey, I tried to use the 2 action points for Fireball, but there wasn't 2 action points available. So again, in theory, we should never hit this. Um, but it's just for safety, just trying to keep ourselves the right way. Okay. So we have the target selected. And then let's see if current actor is in group players. We need to transition our thing back to idle, just like we did with um, attack. Where we put it up here? Ability target. Where did we put it? Here we go. Copy that. Start ability targeting. Okay. So we go through this. We're using it. We transition to the targeting. Here we go. We've done this. Okay. So we're going to set our targeting machine back to idle. After doing this, we're going to set. Oh, that's not where I want to put that. We're going to put the. This is the cleanup. We want to do it before the cleanup. We want to say if current actor dot is in group players. Again, this should never go through monster, so this is just for our cleanup here. So just to make sure we're not showing the action panel, we're setting the targeting back to, oh, actually, you know what? Because remember, our targeting machine puts it to visible. We'll set defaults here. Okay, and then we await the ability. Oh, wait, you know what I want to do? I want to do this at the very beginning. Let's put that right here. So if we're in a player, we'll go back to idle. We'll turn off the visible. If the use action point comes back false, then we can set this as visible. So we can set up the action panel to be selected again. Do we need another ability checkpoint? We probably should have another. I feel like we should probably have this. So if it comes back as false, we're going to put that back to visible. I think we'll be fine for that for right now. You know what? We probably want to put this right here too, because we don't want monsters to do that. Right now, monsters aren't using it, but we might use the system for monsters when we give them spells. So let's just. It's a lot of extra redundancy to be safety, and the reason I'm doing this is right now at work. I'm doing. I'm programming a whole bunch of tools that just make everybody's life easier to reconfigure toll-free numbers and deal with some FCC requirements and all that stuff. And I've been being harped on by upper level to make sure I have every single nook and cranny and every possible security issue addressed and make sure I protect against every possible stupid thing that somebody could do. And so I have to, investigate that 0.01% chance that this one thing could go wrong. And so I've been just spending almost a month just putting in safety code going, this should never trigger, just in case. This should never trigger, just in case. So I'm kind of in that mindset right now. Okay, so we spend the action point. Okay, we say this is, if it's in the player, we turn back on the action panel and then we'll return. Okay, so after that, we're going to execute the ability. We're going to send in our combat manager. And then what we want to do here, should this be fine? If it's in players, we don't want to turn this back on unless we actually have enough action points. So If current actors and group players and current actor action points greater than 0. Okay. Then we can turn it back on. Yeah. Okay. Did I wait? Hold on. Current actor. Did we define current actor as a up here somewhere? Current actor is okay. We're gonna put that as an actor here because we weren't getting the little buffs here. So like when I do this, I want to see action points come up. Okay. Okay. So if we still have action points left, then we'll show the panel, and then we can say action completed. Do we need to send this? Just trying to think. Turn manager action points. Yes, we do want to send the turn completed. Okay. So that should be good for that. Oh, and my mouse dropped out. There we go. Okay. And then let's just try that. That should be single target stuff. So then we'll come back and do AoE. So let's see here. Single target, that's AoE. Just make sure we didn't break anything else. That's, attack. Okay. Still have to come back and we still have to add in range so that I don't keep attacking across the map like this. Okay. Who's got a single? The priest has a single target heal, and the wizard has a single target fire attack. Okay. So we have a single target heal. This should be on allies. Boom. Okay, that looked like it did. Okay, what just happened there? That seemed like we were in the attack phase. And are we just in the attack phase? No. Okay. I never clicked attack. Why were we? Okay. So we got a bug here. Let's see. Let's see. What bug did we introduce? Okay. Let's just try to narrow some stuff down here. Let's do just plain attack. Okay. Attack. Oops. Here we go. Attack. Okay, so we did attack once. Now if I just click. Okay, so we never disconnected. Okay, so we did not disconnect our attack signals. Okay, so that's the problem we have there. Oh, where's our exit? On exit state. Here we go. Move target, this targeting. Here we go. Okay, so let's add in. So this should be cleaning up for actor in nodes, actors. So this should disable target mode. Are we not disabling the target mode? Attack targeting. Let's go back over here. Game board. Actor attack. Here we go. Transition to not enough AP. Select target. Oh, we never actually did. Yeah, here we go. Transition to a target attacking. Okay. Yeah. So we changed that to that. If the current actor is a monster, Yeah, we're not talking about monsters. We're only dealing with people. I feel like we're missing something here on the exit. Did we? Okay, so we go actor attack, and then we target selected. We go to target selected. Where's our target selected? Target selected. Here we go. We come in here, transition. Oh, we never transitioned back to idle in here, did we? Oh, yeah, there he is, right there. If current actor is in group players, maybe we should just take this. And we add that in here. So then we always transition back to idle no matter what. Let's add in one other thing here. Let's do state machine. Let's go into our, we're going to do a print here. Print exit cleanup for, and then we're going to do, oops, space. And then we're going to do state.name. Is it name? Like that. We'll probably need to convert it into a string. No. Okay, we'll just do state. That's fine. There we go. Okay, so let's double check our cleanup here. So right now I haven't attacked. We're not in any targeting mode. Okay, we're clicking on these guys. Nothing's happening. We go into our attack mode. Okay, so we did the exit cleanup for state 0, which is our idle. We click. We do the exit cleanup for state 2. Okay, and state 2 is our attack. And then if we click again, why are our signals still connected? Because state 1 is move targeting, state 2 is attack targeting. We disable Why is this happening? Why are we, when we go through here, if we don't attack, everything's fine. The second that we attack, let's go into our targeting machine for state. This is exit state. We want interstate. Interstate. Here we go. Interstate. Start attack targeting. Turn off the panel. Get tree. Get nodes and group monsters. Art. Enable target mode. Enable target mode. Is this part of our actor? No, monster. What is that part of then? I don't have an enable. Oh, it's part of the targeted. Okay, targeted. Here we go. Enable target mode. If there is an ability. Okay, which we don't have. If input is connected, return connect. Disable target mode. We disable it. Okay. So that should be, are we just not calling the disable target mode? Target, enable target mode. Okay. And then on exit, disable target mode. And that's not getting any parameters. We're not requiring any because we're wiping out ability. If it is connected, return, else connect it. If it is connected, disconnect it. Should we instead maybe just disable input mode entirely? Maybe we just want to disable input mode. I don't like that idea. This should be fine. We're just removing the signals, but why is it not cleaning it up? Let's change this. Let's just make sure we're actually deleting all that stuff. So for actor disable target mode, we're going to just do disable target mode 4, and then we're going to just call it actor. Okay. So if we go back here, when we do this now, so we're going to attack, and that's going to make all of these guys active to attack. So as soon as I click one of these, it should list 4 orcs that are going to be disabled. Okay. So let's see here. So select target, target clicked, targeted. So we are not disabling. Okay, so it's not calling the exit cleanup properly. So we're never actually getting into this. Exit state. But weren't we exiting state 2? So if I attack, boom, exit cleanup for state. Oh, look, right here, 0, 0, and then 2. Removing orc. But we never removed these other guys. Okay, so we're not getting into this. Okay. So 0, we leave idle. We go into select target. Why are we... Did I put too many idles? Transition to idles. Unhandled input. If current state equals idle return. This is cancel. Okay, so that's when we're canceling. So that one's fine. Let's go back to Control F transition. Let's see. Where else do we call transition to? Okay, so that's our actual function. Here is on AoE targeted, transition to idle. Okay, so that's fine there. Let's go look at our game board. Game board, where are you? Game board. Let's see, where are we calling you? Let's start at the top. Okay, action complete. Transition to the idle state. I don't think we want that there. Let's put this, and let's do what do we call that again? The visible thing, the action panel. Do we call it action panel? Action panel. There we go. There. Okay. Let's see if that alone fixes some stuff. So let's see here. All right, now we got nothing. We attack. We still called exit cleanup here twice. I mean, we're still calling exit cleanup for 2. Oh, wait. On our exit cleanup, do we need to do... Oh, no, we're matching the state.idle. That should be right. Here, let's just make sure that this is actually matching. So because we're leaving idle state all the time here. let's just say exiting idle. Okay. So let's just make sure that when we go into something else here, yeah, exit cleanup for 0, exiting idle. We attack, we exit idle, which is fine. Exit cleanup for 2. So, right, yeah. So we're doing exit cleanup for 2, but we're never... Why is this never actually cleaning this? So this is 1, this is 2. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we attack. When I attack, exiting, attack targeting. Okay, so it's doing that, but why is it not actually disconnecting the actors? Game board, get tree, get nodes and group actors. Why are we not actually cleaning up here properly? Oh. Wait, hold on. Wait, exit state. Let's try something. Let's do if actor dot targeted. If actor dot targeted dot selected as target. Target is connected. And then this is going to go to our game board dot target selected, but we don't need these part. Okay, and then what we need to do here is then we want to disconnect it. So let's see if we do that here. If I do dis connect. Okay. Actor, what do we want to use for the actor? We want to use, this is the exit state. So let's use game board current actor. Do we want to use that? Do we want to use... No. What am I thinking? I've now gone cross-eyed. Current actor. Game board current actor. No, because we're not gonna be the target of ourselves. What am I doing? I'm losing my mind. Okay, so we're coming in here. We have the actor in game board, get tree, get nodes and group actors. Okay. Yes, that should be getting this. We're going to look at each actor, targeted, disable target mode. So let's go in here, disable target mode. Let's just add in a print disabling target mode. Okay, so let's find out if this is even getting called. Come on. Okay, so if we attack here, boom. Yeah, so we're never calling. We're never calling that. Why? I feel like I'm missing something simple and stupid. Attack state targeting. We're getting this. We're printing exiting attack targeting. But then it's going right into the combat, but we're never actually executing this code. Let's just see if we're getting past that code. I don't think we are, but I'm done. Let's see if we get that. We are. So this loop is returning nothing. Why is this loop returning nothing? In-group actors, right here. Boom. Actors. Why is that loop returning nothing? I mean, it's the same functionality we're using here. Like when we start targeting right here, attack targeting. Oh, wait. Here we're just calling get tree. Get tree, get nodes in group. So do we need... Okay, wait, let's go back down here. Where's my cleanup? We don't need game board then, right? We don't need a reference to game board. So if we just do get tree, get nodes in group, actors. Wait, we don't want get no. Oh, dummy me. Oh, okay. I got it. I've got it. So what's happening here is I want the children of the actors. I want the children of this node in game board. What this is calling, it says, hey, look for the group. But if we look over, where can we do? Here we go, orc. And we look at where are our groups. Where'd they? Okay, where'd they put our groups now? Signal. Oh, it's up here. It's just hidden groups. And because we only have monsters and players in our groups, that's why it's not working, because they don't exist in an actors group. Oh God, I'm an idiot. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to get the children in the game board. And I think we have a reference to the actors right here. Yeah, we have actors right there. Okay. God, I feel so stupid. Okay. So gameboard.actors.get children. There we go. So that's what we want to do instead. Okay, and then down here we want to do the same thing. Game board. Okay, this. Yeah. Okay. So now if we do attack here, boom. Yep, look, here's all of our cleanup. Okay, and now we can't just randomly click. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, man. Woof, that was rough. Okay, last but not least, let's just disable target. Okay, so we'll clean all that stuff up here. And AoE is not working properly yet, but we'll clean that up in a second. Let's just go back here. Let's just clean up this because we don't need all this in here anymore. Okay. Targeting mode canceled. Clean up. We don't need this. Eureka. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, the problem I have with see when you called up top right there was I have the zoomed in GUI because I'm using a larger text for the stream, and it's making my panels smaller. So okay, what else did I? Oh, targeted. Here we go. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so let's see. Targeted mode canceled. You know what? Let me just take that out too. Okay. Okay, we don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. We got a lot of junk out here in the print, so I just want to clean things up. Okay. Okay. So that should be good there. Okay. Now we need to go back to the game board. We need to fix the AOE. So I think we have a ability target AOE selected. Ability targeting. Okay, so this starts our AOE, and then we call AOE target selected. Okay, so this is where we want to work next. Okay, AOE target selected. Where am I? Where are my notes? I lost my notes. Okay. Let's see. AOE target selected. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So let's add in this ability, this double check one more time. If we're in players, let's set it to false because we don't want to see it. Okay. Let's see, what else do we need here? We're going to set that to false. If actor is empty, we're going to no targets in AoE. We're going to return. We're going to set the action panel back to true here so that we can see. Okay. If you use action points, it's false, not enough AP. Let's set that back to true as well because we need to select a different action. Oh wait, we need this check in here too. Because remember, our monsters are going to use these same things. So I want to add in that. Okay. Here's our, we pass that in. Okay. AoE target selected. If we're in players, hide the action panel. If actors is empty, say, hey, there's no targets. Show the panel if they're in players. If we use the action point and it comes back saying we don't have enough and they're in players, show the action panel. Otherwise, actually execute the attack actors function in the ability script. If the current actor is in the group players, so after this is done, show action panel visibility equals true. I feel like we need to add that same check that we had. Ability targets. Where is our target selected? Target selected. We want to add back in this part because we only want to do that if we have enough action points to do so. Okay. Okay. So that will work there, but we need to do one other thing in Combat Manager, I think, to make this work properly. Because right now, when we attack the actors, Combat Manager on attack AoE is a void. We're going to change this to true because if we leave it at void, we can't do an await. If we set it to true, then we can do an await to make sure it finishes before we go any further. Oh, whoops. Not true. Bool. We want to use Boolean. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that should make the combat manager work properly. Okay. I think let's see if we can get a fireball out of this. Shurikens is busted. Yeah, boom. Okay, we still have another attack. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if we can get shurikens. I have to change. If you remember right, we originally did it so it called in a separate attack on each person net, and then we later added the attack AoE. Okay, fireball. We are not getting our targeting overlay. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on here. Targeting machine. Transition to interstate target ability targeting. Single target AoE. Okay, so AoE overlay is AoE target instantiate. This is AoE target is this. I think I called it AoE target. Yeah, right there. Boom. I appreciate UID, but I kind of like this because then I can actually see what it is. Okay, so we got that. We interstate. Attack targeting, ability targeting. Here we go. Context. We get the ability. Hide the action panel. If there is a current ability, check the target type. Okay, so we're on this. Did we do in the AoE target? We have the radius, physics, input. We target the cell. Okay, so the AoE is not checking for if it's a friendly or foe target. It's just checking, setting up our template, and then clicking on a square. Okay. And then it's going to return that square into here. This probably needs an await. No, this is a signal. So it's going to do all this. Okay, so we're in that state. We're not executing any other code. We're waiting for the cell to be clicked. Did the cancel work for them? Let's find out. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do game board. Let's get rid of the monsters for right now. Okay. Yep. End turn. It's fine. Okay, fireball. No. Fireball. Okay, so we are canceling out, but we're not getting. Is the scene being loaded? Let's check. Game board. Targeting machine, combat manager, spawners, actors. Yeah, we're not actually targeting the. We're not creating that scene. So I don't think we're adding it properly. Okay, so let's go back over here. Here we go. AoE. Okay, so we're going to instantiate the scene. We're going to get the tile map. We're going to do this. Game board. We're going to add the child, the overlay to the game board. Why is that not working? On ready, game board equals our parent. Yep, so here's our parent. So why are we not getting this? Let's just try it one more time. I just want to see if, here we go. Fireball. Let's look for AoE. Action panel, actor dice pool. Yeah, there's no AoE being added to the thing. Let's put a breakpoint right here. Let's see if we're even hitting that. Nope, we're not even getting there. Okay. What was our... So we're not even getting to this. Let's just make sure. Let's do a print. area targeting. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I have an idea already what might be going on. Yeah, area. We're not. So we're not transitioning in the proper uh, target type area. Okay, so let's go. Let's look up fireball. Just make sure our resource is set right. Fireball. Let's expand this a little bit. Fireball. Fireball is set for area. Okay. Target area. Why is that not coming in? Okay, so we're doing this. Let's do just again, make sure we're coming into this. Print, nope, not there. Print area matching. Okay, so we should be getting at least area matching here. I ain't got time to wait. Let's try this again. Okay, boom. Area matching. Okay, so we are getting to that part. Okay, so we are getting here. This current ability target type. And the target type is not matching. So let's see, is it doing this or this? We'll do self, and then we'll do here, we'll do single. Okay, let's see if it's matching any of these. It may not be. Area matching, and it's not triggering on any of those. But if we do this, that's not triggering on any of those either. Okay. Shuriken, that's not triggering on anything. Healing, that's not triggering on anything either. Okay, so that is not matching. So let's look at current ability dot. Oh, wait. That oh spelling. You know, lowercase is our variable, the uppercase is the this is the enum. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. This, yeah, that's gonna hit our breakpoint. Okay, perfect. Look at our output, area matching, area targeting. Okay. Feel dumb. Fireball. There we go. Boom. Attack actors, non-existent attack actors. Okay, so where's that being called? Okay, so we got this AoE target, targeted cell emit, boom. Current ability attack actors. We should have that in Fireball. Attack actors right here. AoE targeted cell. Non-existent function, attack actors in current ability. So we wiped out ability somewhere. Probably right here. Let's try this with that just commented out. Okay. Okay. So when we transition to state idle, state idle. Yeah, see right here, we set our current ability to null. Okay. We don't want to do that if we're doing area targeting. But we want to get out of that. Hmm. Do we just, I don't want to transition after. Anyway, so let's go here. Get all actors in range. Oh, you know what? We're not actually. Oh, this is a targeting machine. Oh, wait, we don't want to do this, right? Wait, let's look at our. Um, get all of our actors in range. Here's our actor list. I feel like we need a check in here. We need to stop our fireball from trying to cast if there's no targets in range. But what else could we do here? Okay. The problem, this is really gonna bug me though. The transition to state idle, which is what we want to do, but that's gonna wipe out our current ability, and we don't want that. So let's go back up here. Do we want to wipe out current ability? No, let's not wipe out current ability here. But we'll do here. We'll set this to null if it's a regular attack, and we'll set move to null. And then on cancel, we'll also do that. So where's our cancel? Cancel. We'll set that as null there as well. Okay, so that should clear that up. Let's try this. Okay, so if we attack, cancel. Okay, move, cancel. Okay, battle cry, battle cry. That's on self. Okay, so if we do like fireball here and we do cancel. Okay, we didn't clean this up properly. Okay. Okay, so ability targeting. We need to clean that up on exit. So let's go back up here. Where's our exit state? Exit state. Targeting. Oh, we don't have a way to clean up the AoE target if it's still there. Okay. So let's see here. Let's do. I thought I had a note on that, but either way, let's just say if gameboard dot has node, and then we called it, what did we call it again? AoE target. Control C. And where was I? Over here. Boom. If it has AoE target, then we can do gameboard. No, we can just do gameboard dot get node, and then we can call it that, and then we can queue free it like that. Okay, so that what? Hold on. Oh, did I put this in the wrong cleanup? Because now we're deleting it. Um, If game board has node, AoE target. This is exit state. Exit. What did we do up here when we connected it? Let's just reverse what we're doing. AoE overlay. Oh, we can just do AoE overlay. Because if it exists, we made it a global variable. There we go. Let's just do that. If AoE overlay, and then we can just do that queue free. Do it that way. Oh, ha, of course that's not working because I'm not running on the game board. Dummy me. Healing. Yeah, that's... Why didn't that one work? Are we breaking more and more stuff? Okay, that's fine. Fireball, cancel. Hey, fireball, cancel. Fire torrent, cancel. Okay. Yeah, so I think we've got that working. This I need to still fix. But why is this break? Oops. So I hit my mic. I'm sorry about that. Healing. Invalid access or key actor. For actor and get tree, get no. Oh, because we did the same thing here. We get nodes in. Oh no, we're getting nodes in group in player. Valid access or property key actor. Oh, because I did game board here. I don't want to do game board. I want to just do actor. Actor. Right. Yeah, we just want to do actor because this is, we're getting all those nodes in the group. Okay, let's try that. This is spaghetti code 101. Don't do this. That, fine. That, fine. End turn. Okay. Let's end turn. Okay, healing. Boom. Select target. Wizard. Okay. And then AP cost, yeah, this is gonna fail because I haven't built the healing thing properly. Yeah. Turn manager use action point current actor ability AP cost. Wait, that should work because our priest, where's our priest? Priest. We built out his ability and it has an AP cost. Valid access to property or key AP costs on object that doesn't exist. Ability doesn't exist. Control Alt B makes a bookmark if you're constantly going back and forth between a couple scripts. Control Shift B goes back and Control B goes forward. That's useful knowledge. What is it? The set Control Alt B. Okay. So is that just to the Control Alt B? So like if we do, oh, and that puts a bookmark right there. Okay. So then if I go over to say priest and go back, would you say it was Control Shift B? Or we have to have a separate, another bookmark must be. So if I do like add Control, oops, right here, boom, Control Shift B. Nope, Control B. Control Alt B, Control Shift B. Oh wait, hold on. If I go over here, Control Shift B, nope, Control B. Well, it set the bookmark, but it did not jump me back to the bookmark. Okay, let's double check here. Let's go over, say, to right here. And we want to do Control Alt B to set that one. Control B, Control Alt. Is it Control Shift B? Control Shift B goes back. Okay. Control B goes forward. Okay, we're not. Is it only within the same script? Oops, Control Y. I don't want that. Okay, then the next question is how do you, here we go, Control Alt B, toggle the bookmark. So if I do it in here, Control B, that goes to the bookmark. Okay, so if it's down here, okay, so it's only within the same script. Okay. Okay. Yep. Well, that's good to know. Learn something new all the time. Okay. And now I totally lost track of what I was doing. Oh, the priest. We're trying to figure out where the priest, the AP cost was not working right. Okay. Turn manager, use action point. Current actor ability AP cost, and it says the ability.ap cost doesn't exist because the ability was null. Why was the ability null? It should not have been null. Yeah, I agree. If it jumped between scripts, that'd be very useful. I know a lot of people who use the C# version of Godot use it in VS Code so they can have dual scripts or dual split screen for stuff like that. I I like having everything integrated into one IDE, so that's why I stick with it. Let's see here. So when this ability target selected, okay. So when we use what's our default, because we don't actually have a ability script for healing yet. So is valid target, we send in this, we don't, it's just a bool. We don't return anything there. We have an AP cost, it's defaults to 1. So when we go into targeting, ability targeting, single target, here we go. Players, okay, get the tree, get nodes in group of our players or monsters. Actor targeted, enable target mode, current ability. We're passing in the current ability into target mode. Okay, so targeted. We're passing ability. Ability equals ability. Return. Okay, so we're setting the ability in targeted. Okay. Okay, so then that's targeted dot ability. Oops, didn't mean to do that. If it's not connected, connect it to game board ability target selected. Wait, do we want to do that or do we want, yeah, game board ability target selected right here. We're going to pass in the ability. Wait, do we need to pass in the ability? Because back here, where was it? Where was it? Interstate. Single target. Here we go. We're going to say targeted, selected as target, and then it's going to connect into game board ability target selected. So when we emit from here, oh, wait. When we emit from here, we're not emit, we need to emit the ability as well. Okay. I'm pretty certain I read one time that if you don't define the other thing up here in the signal, then it just transmits a null for everything else. So let's see if that, whoops, that's the priest. I want to be on game board. Here we go. Okay. Hey, here we go. Fireball. Boom. Die. Oh, nope. 5% chance of failure, and I got it. Why didn't that end? That should have ended our turn because we don't have any, you know, that didn't subtract our AP. Oh, what did we do? Oh. Okay. Okay. Let's see. What did we do? So we still have the same problem. Same problem we had before. End turn. Fireball. Yeah, that's cool. But if we do this and then we click, well, that's not going to work because we don't have, here we go, healing. Click this. Still going to say AP cost is not set. Even though we're passing in, let's double check. Let's do a print ability. Make sure that we're actually sending in the ability. I don't know why that did that, but okay. Healing. Okay, let's look at the output here. Yeah, see, our ability is nothing right here. We're not getting the ability. Ability target selected. Oh, this is a function call. Ability target selected, right? Game board, send it to game board ability target selected. Game board ability target selected. And we're going to take the actor and the ability. Okay. And then actor targeted, selected as target, targeted, selected as target. We're going to send in it and its ability. Enable target mode. Wait, where are we doing? Here's the emit. Oh, wait, hold on. Emit. We need to add in the ability. Okay. So fire torrent, boom. Oh, that's not gonna work because we don't have any characters. That's gonna break because yeah, we don't have any. Okay, and turn. Okay, here we go. Healing. Hey, there we go. Okay. It's even more stupid. I want to double check something. And I mentioned that because now we're passing in the ability here. But if I take out the ability here, does it break? I just want to test this theory. Because that would make it a little weird if here you declare the signal, but then you can pass in 2, even though it's only 1. So I just want to double check. Okay, so healing word. Huh, okay. It seems weird, but I guess you can do. I guess you only have to declare the signal itself here, and then you can transmit wherever you want there. But I'll leave that there for now, so that works. Let's go back to our to do a game board. Let's set up our orcs to have in our test entrance again. Okay, and let's see if we can use our fireball and make sure it works properly. I have a feeling it's probably not going to, but let's test this first. Let's test our fire torrent. Okay, so that works. This should not work. Yep, not enough AP, so it won't let us do it. When we get to the UI, we'll just gray that out. Okay, let's just attack. Target clicked orc. Error column from signal selected as target to callable. Target selected. Method expected one argument, but callable two. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's go back to the game board. Target selected. Remember, because we're passing in a null ability. So let's go to target selected. There we go. And we're going to do underscore ability. And we'll just say it's null to start with. Yeah, there we go. We're not going to use it at all in here because this is just our regular attack, but it still wants the signal. Okay, so let's just double check, make sure that that works properly. Okay, so we use our fire torrent first. We do that, boom, and then we just do a regular attack. Okay, we roll our dice, boom. Okay. Okay, so that works. Look, we'll cast heal. We'll cast heal again. Okay, we'll cast battle cry twice. Okay, and then we'll use fireball. We'll make sure that this works. Okay, fireball. Send her on everybody. Boom, everybody die. Okay, so that's working up to the end. We're not actually fully resolving that. I wonder if, you know what? Let's do. I wonder if it's because it's 2 action points or if it's the other reason. Let's take this. I want to copy this. I want to go to shurikens because I need to fix the shuriken stuff. So here we go. We don't need execute because we're not going to use that, but we are going to use this. Let me just change the format. Actors. This is going to be actors, and that's going to be an array of actors. Okay, combat manager. Yep, that's fine. We're going to call the combat manager attack AoE. Attack AoE, shurikens cast. This is going to be rolling 2 dice. Okay, and then we're going to await this. Okay, await AoE attack complete. Oh, you know what? This might be where we're running the problem here. Return. Oops. Oh my god, what am I doing here? There we go. Return true. This needs to be a bool. Okay. I think that's all we need for that. Actor is not. Oh, actors. There we go. Okay, so that should fix shurikens. I think you missed an I in ability, if that matters. Oh, in the target selected in game board, probably ABILITY. We'll just put it. It doesn't matter because I'm just ignoring it anyways. We're not using it. But yeah, I just don't want to have my spelling properly. Okay, so now shuriken should work. Let's see if it's an AP2 problem or if it's an AP1 problem. Or area of attack problem. Excuse me. Okay, so let's use shurikens. Let's cast it right here. Okay, so we attack. Everybody's done. Removing character. Okay, I'm back to my turn again. If I move, so did I never? It never subtracted the AP. Okay. Game board AP. AOE selected. It's right here. Use. It should have subtracted it. And await the ability, because then that returns true. So here's this. We went through all that. They all died. We removed them, but it never cleaned up the turn. Turn manager, action completed. Turn manager, action completed. Yeah, I mean, that should be the same thing. Okay, so if it's a player, turn manager, action completed, current actor, yeah. Oh, this should only be in players. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, so we use shurikens here. This should take away one of my action points. Okay, so let's go look at our two actors. Rogue. Current action points is still 2. So it did not actually take away his action point. Okay, so why are we not doing this? Why is this not working? Let's just want to make sure that we're actually hitting this. Else print. There we go. Enough AP for AoE. Okay. Yeah, end turn, that's fine. Okay, end turn, yep. Oh boy. Everybody move in for a real close fireball. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Hey, look at all these targets. You can get a lot of people in this fireball. Okay, so what we're looking for. So after all that is done. Yeah, see, it never actually. What we add for code? We added enough AP for AoE. So here we go. Using ability fireball, area matching. So it's never actually okay, so I missed a AoE target selected. Are we actually calling this function? Let's before I even put the print in here, let's just look at targeting machine. Targeted cell. Await current ability attack actors. Game board combat manage. Oh, we're not actually calling that, are we? I'm doing all this editing in that, but I'm not. AoE targeted cell. Oh, right, because we moved it from here. Right, because we're doing that. So we basically have been editing this function, but it's in the targeting function. So, okay, let's just double check to see what we have here. Okay, AoE targeted. Okay, we get the target here. We do monsters. Check, check, check. We await the ability attack actors. That's fine. But we aren't actually calling the spend AP. Here we go. So we need this. So we copy that. Let's put that into. Should we put that here? Okay, so let's put this here. Let's put this here. Okay. Um, mm, mm, mm. So we want to call. Oh, what do we have a reference to in this one? We have current state, current ability, AOE. We're passing in the. We're not passing in anything to spend that with. Okay. So maybe we want to do. Okay. So problem is I was trying to fix this function over here, but we're not actually using this function. So if I just turn this off entirely, we're not gonna have any issues. The same thing's gonna happen because we're not actually using it. So like here we call this boom. Yeah. And that resolves, but because we didn't take away any AP action points, we still have all of our action points. Okay, so when we change it, so here we call back target selected, and then we go through all this check. And we're sending the ability here. So why don't we still call back to this? So we'll do this and we'll come back into our targeting machine. And instead of this, do we transition? Hold on, let's go back over here and look. We don't. Okay. So why don't we, instead of doing this, we can send the targets. So let's call game board dot on, is it, what do I call it? Underscore AoE target selected. So actors and ability. Okay. So we send in the targets and then we need to send in the ability. And do we call it current ability? What do we call it? Current ability. Okay. Yep. ITY. Okay. So now that, so we do all this, transition IL, that'll clear up our overlay. This will get all of our targets, and then we'll call target selected in the main game board. So now we're going to be into this function. No targets, return back to the action panel. If there is targets, use the action point, else we don't need this anymore. We await the attack ability, attack actors, and then we set this back to true. Okay, that should hopefully fix that. Okay, so then we do, we'll just say, hey, heal, heal, heal. Okay, so single targets work. Okay, let's get back to our AoEs. Okay, shurikens. Let's just do, I'm just going to do one for right now. That's going to kill him. And that should have cost me an AP. So right now, if I did not turn back on. Okay, rogue. It did cost me an AP, so I did spend an action point, but we did not turn back on the action panel. So why did that not turn back on? Should this still be out? Should that be like that? Let's try that. Shurikens. Boom. Okay, so we're still not turning back on the action panel. Why are we not turning back on the action panel? we did all this. We spent the AP. If current actor is in group players, current action points is greater than 0. Action penalty equals true. Why are we not turning back on the action panel? Just for SNGs. Let's just do this. Oop, punk. Sorry about that. This should turn back on the action panel no matter what. Yeah, okay, so it did. Okay, so for some reason, it was not identifying that the current actor, the rogue, was in the group players, or that he had more than 0 action points. So let's try this, else print error. Not enough AP. Okay. Okay, so Orcus died, Orcus died. So it's not identifying that he is in the players group. That's the problem. So then if we just do this, else not player. Let's test this. Because that doesn't seem right. Like why would that happen? Okay, we use our shurikens. Attack everybody. Boom. Yep. Not player. Why is he not being identified as a player? Rogue. Groups. He's in the players group. You know what? Let's just double check something. When he's running, we look at rogue. Okay, so we have the rogue here. Boom, boom. Rogue. Members. Oh, where's the groups? Do we have a groups thing over here that we can look at for rogues? I thought there's a way to inspect the thought we could inspect the groups while it's running, but I'm not seeing that over here. Yeah, it's like one of our nodes. I selected the node and it's not letting me take a look at his grouping. Huh. Okay, now my mouse has decided that it wants to go to lunch. Yeah, it's in the player, actor, character body. Okay, so these are the classes. Here we go. Group. Nope, that's threaded group. Thought there was a way to inspect the groups, but I don't see it. So let's see if done waiting, not player. So the 2 AP works fine. Why is the rogue? Why is this shirking being the pain in the butt one? Because the wizard seems to be working fine. Why does this not let me clear this now? Yeah, whatever. Okay, local, that's fine. Let's go back over here. So if we do shurikens, we'll just do the one guy so it's faster. See, error not player. Why is he shown as not player? We're just going to try to get over to the wizard here. Heal. Boom. That's fine. That's fine. Battle cry, battle cry. That's going to be an AoE eventually. Okay, so here we go. Fireball. So we cast the fireball. We'll go through. We attack. No one's going to die. Okay, and it moved on. I mean, the single ability stuff is... Oh, ally, ally. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Fire torrent. I mean, this is working. So why is... This doesn't work. This works. Why is it saying that the rogue is not a player? Area match and area targeting. We attack both of them, cleans up, and then says not a player. Well, let's do this. Print current actor, comma, current actor dot get group. Get groups. There we go. So let's see here. Let's see what it's reporting the rogue to be. Watch, we probably have some async thing going on where it's now trying to move ahead to someone else. Okay, rogue. And he's in players. He's in the group players. Players. Current actor is in group. Players. Why? It's... I don't know. This makes zero sense to me. Let's do... Okay, let's just try something stupid. Reload the current project. Okay, let's try it one more time. And just see if maybe there was some weird bug with Godot. Probably not, but... Boom. Yeah, error, not player. He's a rogue in the group players. I want to try one other thing. Let's bring up our shurikens. Where's our shurikens? Let's put our AP cost at 3. So we can never afford to cast it. So it should not allow us to cast shurikens. Yeah, not enough AP. Okay. Let's set it to 2. Okay. So then, hold on. Let me think here. Because if we set it for 2, yeah, we set it for 2, it ends the turn properly. So for some reason, when we set for 2, oh, it's just events in the turn. It's not ah, man, frazzled my head. Okay. So we're still saying he's not a player. Is there any one of these other ones that we can do? Um, why is this just not working? Because if we do the get group, current actor get groups, it comes back, says he is a player. If we do, when we check it, it's coming back saying he's not in the group players. Well, I mean, if I say he's in monsters, is this going to say, still not monster? I mean, I don't think the double quotes is going to make a difference. I don't understand. Not player. Monsters. I don't think that this is going to change anything. I think we're still going to say not monster. There we go. But I want to do this, and then I've been teasing the buff, so I want to get the buff system in place, but I'm just trying to figure out why. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to get the rogue to act first. Rogue. Just want the rogue. Give me the rogue. There we go. Okay. Oh. Not monster. Yeah, I know you're not a monster. Current actor is in group players. I'm not insane, right? Did I call it players or did I call it player? Players. Yes, players. Just like that. Players. players. Here, look, we'll even do this right here, just before the check. Print current actor.get groups. There. Sometimes the joy of game dev or programming just in general is trying to figure out that really annoying weird bug. Out of curiosity, let's do Fireball. Let's drop Fireball down to only 1 AP. Okay, let's try this. I'm curious if we get the same result with Fireball if we do it like this. Because that will at least tell us if it's an overall logic problem or if it's a, yeah. Okay, so we've got a, oops, fat finger and stuff. So we awake, and then, well, what if we just do? Oh, you know what we could do? Dummy me. Why don't we just do this? See, ability target selected, AOE. We don't have. We'll just put that in there. Yeah, and then okay. I mean, feel stupid, but okay. Action points there. We move. We end the turn. Okay. I mean, that's that. Okay. Let's just double check. Let's put our fireball back to 2 AP just to make sure that all that works properly. Save. Okay. And then we're going to jump into going a little bit long today, but I'm going to jump into the getting the buff system in because it's something I'm just kind of stealing from somewhere else. Okay. And turn a fireball. Okay. Let's just make sure this works. Yep. Okay. We'll kill everybody. And then this should auto advance the turn and pop up the panel. Yep. To the rogue's turn. Okay. Okay. There we go. Ooh. Foolish. Foolish me. Okay. Let's go and look over. Let's start our buff system. Let's just get this in place here. Okay, so we got all that done. Updated that. I think I already did all that. Cancel movement. Yeah, we already did the movement stuff. Targeted the actor update. I think we already did that. Actor update, and let's check out our setup. We are sending in the grid, the dungeon tile map. Yeah, no, I think we're good on that. Okay, so let's go right to our buff system. Okay, so let's close out. I'm gonna close everything. Close all. Close all this. Close all this. Okay, so let's go into our Core components. Here we go. Do we want to do it under abilities? Dice UI. We'll just add it here. Create new script. Okay. And then we're just going to call this the buff. Yeah, let's just call it buff.gd. Okay, so this is going to be, oh, you know what? We should actually put it in create new folder. We'll call it buffs. There we go. And we'll put the buff in there. Create. Okay. So we're going to do a class name buff. Let's we use this right. Okay. Export var, and then we're going to need a buff name. Buff name. That's going to be, oops, string. Oh, I'll just put buff for right now. Buff. Okay. Export var. We need to have a description. It's going to be a string, and we'll just make that one blank for right now. You know what? I'm going to type several of these, so let's just copy this. This will be a lot faster. Let's do an icon for it, and that's going to be a texture 2D, txt ure. Okay, and by default, we won't set one. We need an icon. We need the duration of the buff, and that's going to be a float. Okay, and that will be, I don't know, 3 seconds, 3.0. That sounds good. Do we need a flag to say if it's a debuff or a, I don't know. Let's add this flag in here just in case we need it later. Is debuff bool equals false. I don't think we're going to need it because all we have to do is if it's a debuff, we can just apply a negative thing. But it might prove useful for some things. Okay, and then let's define our dictionary of our stat modifiers. MODI modifiers, and that's going to be a dictionary. Okay, and by default that's going to be blank. Okay. So then this is where we're going to build in that stuff. So if it's going to be a attack buff or something like that, we'll call it like attack dice, or if it's a defense dice, or movement, we'll give it a label, and then that label will get decoded in the buff system of how it affects the player. Stat modifiers. There we go. So we need, these are our virtual functions. So we want to call on apply, and then we're going to pass in the actor, ACT. My fingers are off. There we go. Actor. That's not going to have anything. These are going to basically all be the same. So on remove. Okay. And then we also need, some of these will be like on turn start, and some could be like on turn end. Oops, turn start. And then on turn end. So things like the rogue's mobility. So on turn start, we'll give them the speed boost. So then it doesn't apply on other things. It could be also, if it's a bonus to attack that only lasts this turn, on turn end, then we can, change out how some things work. So that right there, that's going to be our resource to build a buff. So if we want to create like just a real simple one, let's do a buffs, create new resource, and that'll just be a buff resource create. And so let's just call it, I don't know what we want to do. Let's do defense up. We'll just call it that. So then over here we can call it defense up. Okay. Description is increase defense dice by 2. Whoops, dice by 2. There we go. Icon, I'll just leave that blank for right now. Duration, and this is in turns. Maybe we should call it turn duration. We'll just leave it duration, but this is in turns. You know what? If it's in turns, I'm so used to doing real time stuff, so I keep always thinking in time. So duration, that save. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that should be duration int. Hold on. Did we mess this up? Okay, redo this. There we go. Okay, no more error message. Yay. Okay. So let's see. We call it defense up, increase defense dice by 2. The icon, we're not going to set anything yet. It is not a debuff. So here are stat modifiers. We need to add in, let's do a string. Here we go. String. And then in here, probably the best thing we should do is maybe make enums. But for right now, I'm just going to do string. It'll be a lot easier. Defense dice. Okay, and then this new value, this is going to be an int, and that's going to be 2. There we go. So then we're going to take defense dice and add 2. Okay, and that's it. That's our buff defined. And now we just have to create the actual manager. So let's go back into our core components here, create new script, and this is going to be our how do we use our naming convention? Everything lowercase. Okay. Buff manager. Okay. Class name, buff manager. Okay. Yep, node, that should be fine. So what we need here is we need a signal, we need a buff added. Okay, and then that's going to need to have a buff. Oops, buff. Okay. Then we're going to say buff. Oops. Too many F's in buff. Buff removed. Okay. And then we need a buffs update. That one can just be update. Let's do updated. Okay. And then let's get an array of our buffs. And that's going to be an array of buff. And we're going to define that as blank to start with. And then let's see, on ready, we're going to add the buff manager to the player. So if we do on, I don't know, can we do on ready get parent? I don't think you can do that, can you? I think we'll have to do that in the ready function. So let's add in var, just call it actor. ACTOR. Actually, here, I might be able to just do get parent here. PARENT. Well, that let me do it. Yeah, there we go. Done. So then I'll get my parent. Okay, so that's that. So on our function ready, okay, what we need to do here is we need to get our game board. Okay. Wait, we don't need game board, do we? I don't think we need game board at all. Are we doing any of the defense? It's all going to affect the actor. Yeah, I don't think we need the game board at all. We just need the turn manager. Our actor class, do we pass in the game board, because that's where the turn manager, or do we have the turn manager in here? Targeted for we need access to the turn manager. Let's look at our game board overall here again. So here's our game board. Here's our turn manager. We're going to be added underneath the row, underneath the characters. Oh, yeah, I don't want to do it that way. I guess we will. We'll have to. It'd be great if I could just call in, you know, actually, could we do, if I did this, if I access this as a unique name and then just put this in here, will that work? I wonder. Let's try that. Let's try that. That's going to get us our turn manager. So then we can just say turn manager dot turn started dot connect. I don't usually use unique names a whole lot, so that's something that's going to be new for me. Turn started. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing. Turn ended, I think is the signal. Ended. On turn ended. Okay. That should be at there. Let's do a function add buff. Okay. Then in here where you need the buff, that's going to be a buff. Okay. And then we need, I think that's all we need. We just need buff. Okay. Void. And then here, var new buff. Okay. And then we're going to duplicate buff dot duplicate, because what happens if you don't duplicate it, what it does is Godot uses just a reference and it keeps pulling from the same one. So sometimes there could be some overlap where one is functioning, and if the second one is called, it doesn't function properly. Whereas if you make a duplicate, then it'll treat each one independently. So then you can have like stacked buffs of the same thing and stuff like that. So, okay. Buff, excuse me, duplicate. So that's the buff. We duplicated the resource. So we have the new buff. So we're going to take our dictionary up here. We're going to do, or not dictionary, array. And then we're going to append the new buff to it. Okay. And then from there, we're going to do new buff dot apply, on apply, right? Yeah, on apply. And then we're going to send it to the actor. Okay. Oops. And I know you're trying to be helpful, Godot, by adding in the extra parentheses, but I don't really need it. Okay, so new buff, we apply it, and then we're gonna add in the buff added dot emit, and then we can, I think we just omit the new buff. Okay. This is going to be useful, especially for our UI if we want to update things like, showing what buff is currently active. And then we need buffs dot updated up. No, buffs underscore updated dot emit. Okay, so this is going to tell the buffs added emit will give the information to the UI. The buffs updated will refresh the UI. So if we have like buffs counting down, that's what the buffs updated is going to do. Okay, so that's that. Let's do a function. Let's do the remove buff, which is going to be basically the same thing. And then we need, again, the buff, which is a buff. It's going to be a void. I mean, for safety, we should, I'll come back. For safety, we should probably make sure that it is actually being removed. But for right now, we'll just go with this. If buffs dot has, and we're looking for the buff. Oop, what did I do here? Buff. There we go. If it has the buff, then we can start doing it. We can do buffs dot erase. So we take it out of the array, remove the buff. Okay. And then we need, what else we need to do? We need to do the on remove on the actor. So we need to do buff dot, is it buff dot yeah, buff.on remove, and then we send in the actor. Okay, and then we need to do the emit. So buff removed dot emit, and buff removed. We need to send the buff that we removed, and then we need to do buffs updated dot emit. Okay, so that will remove the buff and then update everything. Okay, this is our safety check to make sure that it actually exists in the array before we try to remove it. And I think that is all we need for that function. Let's get stat modifier, modifir. Okay, and we're gonna use a stat name. That's gonna be a string, because remember in our buff resource we made them strings for right now. And that's all we need for that. This is going to be an integer, because we're going to need to modify it. Yeah. Yeah, everything's going to be a stat. Buffs are going to modify stats. So let's just think of it that way. Okay, so let's do a var total equals 0. Okay. Then we do for buff and buff and buffs. Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to check to see if we have, so if buff dot stat modifiers dot has, and then we're going to go, oops, that should be stat name, not state name. So has stat name. So in this case would be like what we're doing is sending the defense up. So if it has defense up, then we can do total plus equals buff dot stat modifiers, and then we send the key of the stat name. Okay, do that, and then we return total. Okay, so then that will do that. Okay, yes, I know I keep hitting save, so you keep telling me errors because I haven't defined those functions yet. Okay, so that gets the stat modifier. We've added it. We've removed it, stat modifier. Now we need to tick it. We need to run it. So let's do a tick turn. So in this case, if you're doing like RTS, your ticks are going to be like, every whatever the update that you're going to be, your tick count, it could be physics based. So 60 ticks in a second for the update. In this case, it's each turn, but we'll just call it tick turn. Okay, and we'll do a start. Okay, tick turn start, and then in here we're gonna build up. We're gonna see what's expired. So I'll do an array of buffs. Okay, so we're gonna assume nothing by default is expired. So we do for buff and buffs. Okay, and now we just need to see it if they're expired. So first we need to decrement them. So we do buff dot duration minus equals 1. And see, this is back when I was talking about, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see up here when we did this duplicate. If we just did the buff here, when we did this when we decrease it, it will decrease it for all of them. So if you have multiple in there, even though if you cast them like one, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, it would just debuff all of them because it's all referenced in the same reference point. So that's why we do the duplicate there. So buff minus equals 1, and then we need to do the duration. Then we need to see if it's actually expired or not. So if buff dot duration is less than or equal to 0, we need to remove it. So then from there, what we need to do is, sorry, I got a little message out of the corner of my eye there. Okay, so if our buff is less than or equal to 0, we need to add it to our expired.append and then we need to put in the buff. Okay, so that adds it to our expired array, because then we have to go through the expired and clean them up. Okay, so we added that in, we did the expired append, and then we need to do that cleanup. So we do for buff in expired. And then in there, what we can just do is we can call the remove buff. Okay. So if we decrement them, yeah, whatever. We decrease them by 1, check if they're expired. If they are, we add them into the expired array, and then we loop through the expired array and do the remove buff action on all of those. So, okay. Now let's do the function. Function tick turn end. Okay. Okay, and this is going to be basically the exact same thing. So we can just pretty much copy this, but this is going to happen on the end of the turn instead of the beginning of the turn. And that's why they're tick turn start and tick turn end. So we got the expired array of buffs. We loop through them again. I mean, it's all the exact same thing. We're just going to, I mean, we could, yeah. The difference is we're not going to decrement them here. Okay. We're just going to see if they're over. Because we've already, in the beginning of the term, we already decreased them. So this is going to be more like cleanup type stuff. So if like something gets used up or expired or something like that, then we can remove it out. But we need to also call in here buff, and then it's what do we call that? On turn end. They're on turn end actor. Okay. Oh yeah, we need to do that up here as well. For buff and buffs, on turn start, we'll call on turn start. Okay, there we go. So now we'll call this at the beginning. We'll do the on turn start to the actor. We'll decrease the buff duration, and then also here on the end, we'll go through that. We'll make sure nothing's expired, and if it is, we'll remove it. Okay. I think that is almost it. We only have a couple more functions, and then we should be ready to try this here. So let's see. Function, we got to do on turn started. STARTED. Wow. I am typing so well today. On turn started. And then we're going to have the do we just want to call it actor again? Yeah, we'll just call it actor. It's easy. Actor. And that's going to be an actor. Okay. And then on here, we're just going to say if actor equals. Oh, wait. We want to see. No, we want to see active actor. Active actor. If active. ACTIV. Active actor equals actor. Okay. Tick, turn, start. Okay. So on the turn started, we'll call it in. We'll say active actor, and we'll check it and say if the active actor is the actor that's assigned this buff, then run a tick turn start. Because remember, we just want to make sure that we're not trying to run the buff when it's not that character's turn. And then we're going to do the same exact thing for the end of the turn. On turn ended. Active actor, tick turn end. Okay. So then if we have any stuff programmed into, if you remember here, on any of these, like if there's anything special that happens. So like, say the rogue, we add an extra 3 squares of movement. On the end, we return his movement back to normal, something like that. Okay. So turn started, turn ended. I don't think there's anything else we need for this buff manager. So we'll save that. Okay. That's good there. So now we just need to connect it. So let's go over to our barbarian, not barbarian. Let's just go right to the actor. Let's do here, and let's do, we're going to have to change some things around here. I'm going to get rid of, movement. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of movement because what we're going to do is we're going to kind of use like getters and setters, but in a slightly different way. Because when we go to move, we're going to say, hey, let's grab my current movement. Let's get the current movement and then we'll set it. Okay. So what we'll do, actually, we want to change this to be a setter instead of that. So we'll do movement is int, but then we're going to call the setter here, and that's going to be get, and then we're going to use var, well, we'll just call it m for now, equals stats dot movement. Okay. And then we can say if there's a buff manager, if buff underscore manager, which I have to add up above, AGER. And then we can do m plus equals buff manager dot, underscore. Wow. Manager dot, what was I just doing? I totally just lost my brain again. Get stat modifier, modifier, and then we need to send him, what modifier is it that we want, and we want to get movement. Okay. And then here we can just do return m, or max m, comma 0, max aim, comma 0. So then we will do that, and then up here we need to set up our var is our buff manager. That's going to be a buff manager. Okay. And then that will equal buff manager dot new. There we go. So then we'll add in the buff manager to all of our actors. So by doing that, now we have every single one of our actors is going to have a buff manager. So, okay. So let's see here. So we got that. So our movement now will, whenever it's changed, we'll get, or every time it's called, we will check our stats.movement, and then we'll add in anything from our buff. Okay. Let's see here. Function in ready. Do we need anything in our ready? We don't need this anymore because we've set up our movement now. Buff manager new. We already did that. I don't think I need to set the name for it. It's fine. Current HP. That's fine. Let's add this to the, let's add it to the tree just so then we can look at it while we're working. So let's do buff manager dot name equals buff manager. There we go. All right. And then we're going to do add child buff manager. There we go. Boom. Excuse me. Yeah, so now we're gonna, that will add the buff manager into our tree, so we'll be able to see it on our player. I think there's only like 2 more things I want to do because I want to change. Let's just make sure that this works right now. Whoops. Helps if I turn started and base object null instance. Where did I do this? Buff manager. Okay, so I think we, oh, you know what? I should probably not put this here. Let's just we'll put that here. And then down here on the ready, we'll do it. So here we'll do buff manager. So then we'll do it when the node's ready. That should help. Nope. Oh, because this is the turn manager, doesn't work that way. Dang. Okay, we'll have to do it the other way. I don't really like doing it the other way, but we will. So we'll do. We'll go here. We'll just go here. Boom. We'll do a var game board equals get tree, and then we'll do current scene because it's all based on the game board being the top root. So we'll do that. We'll do the game board, and then we can just say, we'll just do a safety check if game board. Okay. And then in here, we can do a var, we can do a turn manager equals, and then we can call game board dot. Do we have turn manager? And we don't have it defined in game board. So we can do get node or null, and then we can call it turn manager. Okay. If game board, right? Okay. And then we can say if turn manager, and then we can connect in these two signals like that. Okay. That should, there we go. Okay. So now when we look over here in our rogue, you can see we have our buff manager. So we can see right now there's nothing in our buffs, but we have it. Our priest is going to have it. Even our orcs are going to have the buff manager orc right there. Boom. So, okay. So we have those. We need one more thing because remember we made our defense dice. So let's get our defense dice working here. So we need a function in here, actor, boom, function, and then we're going to call this one get, we'll start with get defense, dice. Okay. And that's going to return a int. Yeah. Yeah, get defense dice. Okay. Var dice is going to equal, that's stats dot base attack defense dice. Here we go. Okay. And then just like we did before, we're going to say if there's a buff manager, just to be safe, if buff manager, and then we can do dice plus equals buff manager dot get stat modifier defense, whoops, underscore dice. Right. So we'll get the stat dice. Okay. And then we can return the max of dice, comma 0. Right. Return. Turn. There we go. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so we're going to turn the max of dice, comma 0. So then that will be how we get our defense dice. We're going to do the exact same thing for our attack dice. Okay, and then this will be our ATK. Yep, attack dice. And then this will be called attack dice. Okay, so we got that. There's our buffs. We'll get the attack dice. And then what we need to do is in combat manager, where we call, there's a, hold on, stats.base attack dice. Okay, so right here, we're going to call actor dot, we're going to just call it get attack dice. Get ATTACK, get attack dice. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Actor get attack dice. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. But we're going to call this defense dice. Oops. Okay. So then we'll just copy this. I'll replace this like that. And I think, is that the only other place that we're using? Attack, attack, defense, defense. I think those are the only two places we're actually calling that function. Yes. Okay. So now that should all pull based on the system. So let's just make sure we didn't break anything. 1, 2. Okay. So we're pulling this stuff properly. Like right here, this 1 attack dice, 1 defense dice. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So now what we need to do is now we need to tie in the ability for like the battle shout. So we go into a where are we? Priest, barbarian. Here we go. So if we go into this, we have the ability, the battle cry. We need to make a core ability. Drew, where is our players? Characters. Barbarian abilities. Create new resource. And this will be not resource, script. Create new script. This is going to extend ability, ability. There we go. And then this is what we call, let's go back over here real quick. Our rogue, wizard, priest, barbarian. Here we go. Battle cry. Let's do... We'll just do battle cry right now plus 2. We did +1 there, but let's call it battle cry, BATTLE, battle cry defense. Okay, we'll create that. Okay, so then in our ability, I'm trying to remember now how I want to do this. So if we bring up our ability, okay. So here's our base ability. Here's our functions. So when it's going to call execute right here. So when we call battlecry defense, extends ability, we're going to add in execute. And in execute, we're going to call in the actor dot buff manager dot add buff. And then we're going to add in the buff of our defense. You know what we can do? This is going to be a script. It'll be a resource file. We can make this an export. EXPORT. Export var buff name. And that's going to be a buff. Okay. Not buff name. Let's just call it buff because it'll be the full resource. So then we can just add the buff. Boom. Execute, add buff. So when we call battle cry, then it will call the execute command. We'll do the actor buff. We'll also need to do we'll need this because we need to define if it's a valid target. We're just going to say true if actor dot is in group players return true. RETURN true. Okay, so is it valid if the target is in the group players? And then on the execute, we'll take the actor and we'll call the buff manager and add the buff. Okay. So now in the barbarian, we need to, oh, we also need to make the ability resource. So let's create a new resource. Battle. Oh, did we not give it a battle cry defense? And you know what? Let's rename this. Rename. F2. Nope. Where is it? Over here. Battlecry defense. There we go. F2. Let's just call it Battlecry because then we can have the two different versions. Yeah. See, we be thinking. Okay. And then here we create a new resource. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's give this a class name. Battlecry. There we go. Boom. Okay. So now we do create new resource. We make a Battlecry. Okay, we're going to call this EFEN defensive battle cry. Okay. Let's copy that name so I don't have to type it again. Defensive battle cry. The buff is going to be a defense up. We're going to call it defensive battle cry. Raise defense by 2 dice. Okay. AP cost is 1. Range is 1. AoE, it's going to be a target of self. Yeah, we're going to target self, so it only allows targeting on himself. This doesn't matter, I guess. We'll do a. Hold on, where's our? We'll save this for right now. Let's go back over to our barbarian. Barbarian, here we go. And we'll steal this copy. We'll go back over to our battle cry. We'll paste that in. Paste. There we go. Okay, so now we have our defensive battle cry. It does all that. I go back to our barbarian again. Barbarian. Here we go. We clear this. We add an element. We do a quick load. Defensive battle cry. There we go. Save. Okay. So now when we run this game, we hit defensive battle cry. Boom. It's on myself. If I look at the game board, where am I? Actors, barbarian. Okay, if we come down here and we look at our buff manager, look, we have a buff that's defense battle up. Okay, so then if I move him down to here and we let him get attacked, we'll just move these guys out of the way so then they don't get attacked. So when he rolls defense now, their defense dice not increase. Does he still have barbarian buff manager? He still has it on here. Oh wait, we never. Why is this 0? It's not defined. Why is that stat modifier's dictionary not there? Okay, hold on. Did I clear something? Yep, I did. Oh, you know, I know what I did. This is a weird thing with Godot. I don't like how it does this. How did we do this? Hold on one second. It was defense underscore dice. Okay. Defense dice. This is going to be an integer. This is going to be 2. If you don't hit add key value pair, it doesn't actually add it. It's really annoying that that's how it works, but that's why. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so we'll just end his turn. We'll end his turn. We got way too many people attacking us here. Okay, so now if we use our defensive battle cry, cost us a point. But now, if we look here, we have it. We have a dictionary. We have defense dice 2. Okay, so that's good. So now, if he gets attacked, or I should say when he gets attacked, he should be rolling, I think 4. What's his default defense? Uh, da, 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 da. Stats. Where's my stats? Barbarian. Grid. Buff manager. Stats. Here we go. So his stats, base defense die is 2, so he should be rolling 4 when he gets attacked. Let's just move him out of the way. You know what? Let's just toast that guy. Ah, I missed. Anyway. Okay. Boom. Is our get defense dice not working properly? So up here, where we're being attacked, targeting barbarian, we're getting the defender dice, but we're only getting 2. Get defense dice. Here we go. Combat manager. Base attack. Where is our defender pool? Attacker dice, defender dice. Oh, yep, here we go. This should be target dot get defense dice. How did I miss this? Okay. Did we not update? I swear we updated this. Did we not update Combat Manager? I thought we did. Oh, we updated Attack AoE. We didn't update regular combat. Okay. That's why I messed up. Okay, so I missed regular combat. That's why. Okay, so regular attack stats dot get attack dice. Okay. Okay. Get defense dice, get defense dice, get attack dice, get attack dice. Okay. Okay. So that should be that. Yeah. So let's try this one more time. Oh, pool size. Valid assign my primary key. Pool size with a callable base object. Actor dice pool. Why is that doing that? How was he attacking? He was attacking, targeting the wizard. Pool size. Opponent dice pool. Dot pool size. Oh, because this is. Oh my god. Because these are function calls. These are not variables. If we wanted to make these like setters, like we did with the movement, we could have just done that too. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. So we got our wizard. He's fine. We'll just end him. That's fine. Okay. I think I think tomorrow's stream should be a lot of fun because tomorrow's going to be building all the abilities. It's going to be building all the monsters. And it's going to be, should be awesome, honestly. So let's see here. Let's end our turn. Okay, here we go. Let's make our defense dice go up. And then, actually, let's see if we can stack it. Let's run it the second time. Defense dice. And if we look at our barbarian now, we have 2 buffs. So now we should have like 6 defense dice. So he should be basically invulnerable. Yeah, look, 6 dice. There we go. Okay. So now our buff system is working. Okay. And then what should happen is if we look at the duration of these, so like right now, the duration is 3. The next time the barbarian comes around, those should be decremented into 2. So let's just move you out of the way so you don't get attacked anymore. Same with you. Let's move you out of the way. Everybody's going to attack the barbarian. Okay, so if we look back here at our buff manager, we look at these. Our duration is 3. Didn't we connect to the on turn started? I swear we did. Oh, what we mess up in the buff manager. If there's a turn manager, connect turn started, on turn ended. You know what? Let's add one more print turn manager connected. Okay. Let's just make sure that that actually happened. Turn manager connected, turn manager connected. Okay. And then turn manager is connected. Okay, so those all are connected. So we add the buff, remove buff. Okay, here, tick turn start. On turn started, tick turn start. Turn manager, turn started. Let's look at turn manager, turn started. We're sending the actor. Okay. That should be working. I don't know why this is not. Let's just make sure this is Oh, there's the storms coming in. Tick, turn, started. I'm not going to do too much more troubleshooting on this because I need to get some lunch and something to drink. But let's see. Did we get tick turn started? So we should have on the barbarians. We should have gotten tick turn started, but we did not. Okay, so I've got. Oh, whoops. Tick turn start. Tick turn start. Just for testing purposes. Tick turn started. The problem with this is going to make it so every turn tick turn started. So this is going to decrement. See, we only want it to happen on the current actor. That's why we want this active actor. So on turn started, active actor. If it equals this oh, did we ever assign this actor? Yeah, we have get. You know what? Let's do. Well, we know this works because we can add it into the barbarian. We can add his buff. Let's see. Why are we not actually running this? Because this isn't matching. If the active actor equals the actor assigned to this buff manager, Print, let's just say print active actor. Whoops, I don't want to. You know what? Let's just do this. Active actor. And then we can just do plus active actor. There we go. Oh, we want to do string. There we go. Boom. Okay. Let's just see here. Okay, so the wizard starts his turn. Yeah, see, it's not actually matching this. So I need to take this and put this, oops, home, put that there. So it should say, yeah, active actor is barbarian. Okay, so barbarian is active. Okay, and then we're going to do plus versus. And then here we're going to do string of the actor. Okay, there we go. So boom, this should, whatever. That should be enough to give us what we need. Here we go. So object is null. So when we first start, our actor is not assigned. Okay. So let's see if that happens on every turn. Object null. Okay. So yeah, so I'm thinking, I think I know what's going on, because I think by assigning this up here, this get parent right here, I think it's too soon, and we need to go down here. Okay, and then on ready, game board turn manager, and then we can just do actor equals get parent. Like that. There we go. And so now, there we go. Tick turn started. Okay. Yeah, it was just a matter of putting that in the right spot. Okay. So now we can take this out. Okay. Tick turn started. We don't need that anymore. Okay. So now let's just make sure that our barbarians debuff works. Okay, well, whatever, we'll end the turn. Doom, end the turn. Okay, here's our battle cry defense. He's up to, here, we'll do that. There we go. Oh, move him out of the way so then the barbarian hopefully gets attacked. There we go. Boom, 6. Okay. So right now, again, if we look at the barbarian, we have 3 duration left. So those should decrement. I'm pointing again at my screen where you can't see. These should decrement on the barbarian's next turn. Okay. Yep. And that's 2. Okay. Let's just make sure both of them are the same way. Buff manager. Boom. Duration is 2. Okay. So let's just let him go through a couple more turns just to make sure that it goes away. I still need to do some cleanup on this, but again, I've got a new dice node that I'm working on that it's going to look a lot nicer than this when I'm done. Okay, end turn, end turn. We're down to 1. Okay, so the next time the barbarian has a turn, he should lose both buffs. He should be back to his normal 2 defense dice. Let's just clean up some trash here. Oh, I guess not. Okay, back to the player's turn. So we'll just clean up these trash right here. That should be good. A storm is forecasted for your area. Yeah, thanks. I can hear it outside. Okay, so we'll end turn. End turn. Barbarian. There is no buffs anymore. All gone. Okay. So then if we end the turn, when he gets attacked, you should only have 2 defense dice. Yep. And he only had 2 defense dice. Okay. Excellent. Oh, God. Okay. So we made a lot of progress today. Let's jump over to, we're going to save this. This is good. Get into our, I'm going to just hit stop on this. 3 hours, long stream today. Let's go into our Kanban real quick. Targeting system is done. Barbarian details. We have battle cry. We have built the battle cry. Wizard. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to do wizard. I wanted to look at the details. Fireball, fire torrent. We still have to build those other 2. Okay. Priest abilities, barbarian. Let's do this. Let's add in battle cry attack. We'll just add that in there. Okay, doom, save. Build the buff system. We've got the buff system. That is done. Okay. And then the rogue abilities, we fixed that. We have to add in mobility and all that, but we'll do that next time. Oh, we're at 48.8 hours. God. Behind schedule. I thought I was gonna be doing good. We didn't lose until almost hour 50. Okay. Let's go back over here. Let's check out our list here. Buff system is done. We just have to finish building out the hero abilities tomorrow. That should be pretty straightforward. We've got all the framework we need to do that. We just have to do the actual coding, which is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be able to plug them in and test them. And then we're going to build out all monsters. And if you remember, we have all of these to build out. So tomorrow is going to be a lot more visually appealing to watch, but we'll get those all built out tomorrow. And then the only thing we have to add in is just a ranged attack, which would be pretty straightforward. Oh, we still have to add in range checking. Do we have that in our Kanban? Let's add that in. Add card. Add range checking. Okay, we'll put it in the current milestone. There we go, save. Okay, we'll put that near the top. Okay, so we got that. We're going to build those out tomorrow. And then I think we're going to be able to close out at the end of stream tomorrow. Milestone 4 will be all closed out. And then we'll move on to the actual making the run and items and all that fun stuff. So I think we're sitting pretty good. Let's see here. Nice work so far. I have to go through all the videos. Haven't had a lot of time with helping take care of grandson still. Nice work. Thanks. That's hopefully everything is going to work out good and everything's going to be here we go, Kanban. So yeah, I think let me jump back over here, just wrap things up. We finished the targeting. We had some hiccups in there, so that took a little bit longer than I expected, but we did build the buff system, which I already had the code from another game that I used a buff system in. If you ever see my video from 2 years ago, I think it's like 2 years ago, my intro video from my YouTube channel has You the Unlikely, and in there I took Castlevania Symphony of the Night, added in a buff system for that, so it was something I created almost 2 years ago. So this was one of the very first things I ever learned to code. So that was just copy and paste and put it in. So we got the buff system in place. We've got a defense up, a battle cry. We can easily just swap it around for attack dice and it becomes the attack battle cry. That one I'm going to probably change into an AoE, which is going to be just changing that resource and then changing the script. and it just adds the attack targets. Um, so it should be really cool. Um, and then I think, just trying to think if there's anything else that we did today. The buff's working. We got the defense. We fixed the bugs with the defense not decrementing properly, and that's all in there. We just have to go through and, like I said, we'll probably do an enum thing if I ever do like a cleanup stuff in the buff system. But I think we're all good. We hit everything we needed to today. We're behind the actual target. I mean, 40, almost 49 hours, but we'll get there. We have the defensive, not defense. We have the feature lock coming in at hour 60. So we need to get traps in. We need to get the items in. We need to get town in. That's going to be the next milestone. But I have faith. I think we're going to be able to do it. Once we get that milestone done, playtest time. So everybody who's come to the stream and been able to watch, look forward. I can't wait to have people try it, because the one thing I've found in my Simon's Tribute game, my Castlevania remake, I finally got. I only had like one or two playtests from back when I originally released it, but lately I've had a lot more. And those new playtests that I've gotten have provided so much good feedback. And I've been working on implementing those changes. I mean, if you just look, I've been spending a lot of time on um, my Castlevania remake, to try to get that up to snuff. Oh yeah, I'm showing you a chart, but you can't see it. So I've been spending a lot of time on the yellow as my Castlevania game. So I've ramped that back up and trying to get that development done. So a lot of good feedback came from the playtest on that. So I'm looking forward to it, getting this in your guys' hands, and let me know how you feel about it, and what changes we may need to do, because again, we have looking at that feature lock at 60, trying to deliver a game in 100 hours. It's going to be rough, but I think I still have faith that we can do it. So with that being said, with the storm starting to roll in here, it's a good time for me to log off and get some lunch. So I'll catch you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And I bid you all adieu. Good evening, good day, good night, whatever it is for you. And I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.